All right, so once again, thank you for Coin Cards for bringing us the stage. They are the stage sponsor, and it's on that on which I stand. So shout out to those guys as well. Okay, the history of money. This is block 1. This is our very first workshop. I hope you guys are ready. My volunteers are handing stuff out. I'll let them circulate around. But I just want to give the objective, first of all. Why are we going to do this workshop? We're starting at the very beginning with the history of money. It's super important to understand the history of money when talking about Bitcoin. So the objective is, this workshop illustrates the function and properties of money. We're not going to talk about Bitcoin until pretty much the end of this block. But we need to know what money is and why we use it. So let's jump in. Also, a little side note. I used to do these types of activities with maybe 8 people. Like a table like this right here at the front. You guys would be my normal table. But then I look at this huge room and I see lots of tables. We're going to pray to Satoshi that this goes well, because this is actually technically the first time I try this activity. But we're just going to raw dog it, as some people say, and we're going to try and do it live. Okay, materials are out, everybody, all my volunteers. Give me a quick thumbs up. Everything's out, beautiful. I love you guys, dream team. Okay, so in your materials, you're also going to have a pack of cards. Reach into your box and pull out the pack of cards. OK. And the person who has the pack of cards, deal them out equally to everybody at your table. More or less equally. Because we're going to look at trade. We're going to look at what trade is. Trade is the voluntary exchange of goods or services between economic actors where transactions occur only if both parties find them beneficial. Keyword, beneficial. So if you look at the history of trade, these are types of things that we would trade, right? We'd be trading eggs, fish, honey, apples. I'm kind of hungry, so I just put food up there. But there's all sorts of things that have been traded historically. These are things you have, and you would trade them for things you want. And that's the benefit of trading. You get what you want from what you have. But we don't have eggs, fish, and honey to trade today. We have cards. We're just going to trade cards. It's going to get a bit chaotic, by the way. I'm warning you. Round 1, simple trading. Everybody should now have a small deck of cards, each person. And you might have worked out that it's only one suit. You don't have more than one suit. You only have one thing. But that's not what you need. It's what you have. In fact, if you have clubs, you actually need spades. And if you have spades, you actually need clubs. If you have diamonds, and you need hearts. And if you have hearts, well, you need diamonds. I'm not sure if you've seen that thing counting down right now, but it's 10 minutes. That's how long a block on Bitcoin takes. You guys have 10 minutes to trade what you have for what you need. You're going to have to move tables and meet other people. I want you to trade. This is now becoming a free marketplace, and we're going to make it happen. Round 1, trade what you have for what you need. Go. Okay, let's have a look. I'm on the floor. I'm using this wireless mic. We got 8 minutes left. I think it's good. Hopefully this is working.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 and 5. We're doing a like-for-like trade. Trade complete. Good job. All right. How we doing? How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the free market. You guys sat down because you finished? Excellent. Excellent. If you have any questions, just turn over this to a red, and my volunteers can find you. But if you're all good, excellent job. Have you got what you need? Excellent, excellent, excellent. This is an easy trade, just like back at school.
You gotta connect with the right person. We can actually just swap everything.
Trade's complete over here.
Yeah. Yes.
Excellent, congratulations. Easy, easy, easy. We got 7 minutes left. We're doing really well.
Does anybody need any parts?
We're looking for hearts. Anybody need hearts? Right over here. There's some hearts over here, maybe. Okay, okay. People are making trades. I love this. We're free market economists experimenting. It looks like a lot of people have made that trade. If you have, return to your seat. Just go like and check. And we're doing really well on time as well. So congratulations to my wheelers and dealers, my buyers and sellers. Okay, as this counts down with our time here, we've got about 3 minutes left. But for the people who have maybe finished, I just wanted to jump into the next discussion here, which is how did it go? If you're at your table right now and you've made your trades, if you've made your trades, just raise your hands. If you've made your trades, raise your hands. We've got good market completion here. This is great. Ask the people around the table, how did it go? Did it go well? I want you to do a think, pair, share. This is something we use in schools. So think to yourself, and then turn to the person on the left and the right and mention what worked with the trade, or maybe what didn't work. Okay, I'll give you guys literally the last couple minutes, and then I want to hear from you. Ben, if you can walk around, I'm going to ask some people what worked, what didn't work, and why. We're looking at trade, okay? That's what we're trying to master here. What is trade? A lot of people say, hey, we don't need money. We could just go back to trading, right? This is what we're doing right now. Let's think about it critically. What works when you trade and what doesn't work with trade? Ben, do you think you could pick somebody out in the audience? Anybody wants to chat with Ben about trading?
Check, check, check. All right. Can I see some hands for some tables? Who has some insight into how this went? I'm just gonna start bugging tables. I'm gonna bug the mayor. Mayor Sim, how did the trading go?
It went great.
Did it?
Yeah, well, I didn't know if there was like a little game here. So we had clubs and we had to get spades, but I thought there'd be like a zinger after, so I actually traded for a heart and a diamond as well.
Look at this. So this is investing or saving.
I probably
something.
broke all the rules of the game.
Yeah, look at this. It's a free market. We're going to try and break it. But I like that. That's a great strategy. Thanks, Mayor Ken.
All right.
One more person maybe wants to just plug in. How did it go? What worked? What didn't work?
Who wants to tell me? Who had problems? Who had problems? Who didn't get what they needed? All right. Okay. So what happened?
I actually got what I needed, but it was unclear as to whether the numbers had to match as well as the symbol.
Okay. Okay.
That's an awesome question. I got asked that question a couple times, actually, so thank you for raising it. I appreciate that. The numbers don't matter. A king or a 2 or a 5, they're all the same. What we're focusing on is the suit of the card. Thank you.
Did anybody just not get what they needed? How many people didn't get what they needed? Here, a few. Hold on, I need to ask
a good
you.
completion rate,
what happened?
right?
You just went out there and you couldn't find anybody?
I just got chatting to people.
The social network takes over. I like that. But at least let's see it this way, right? With the trade, you were able to circulate and meet people and talk with people as well. It was so cool to see everybody walking around, like having these interactions. This is what is good about economy and commerce, is that you actually get to leave where you are and go out into the marketplace and meet other people. Yeah, Fiona.
So I had more cards than who I traded with.
Right.
So I only traded what I had, and I had 2 extras and couldn't find the trade for the last 2.
Right, okay, so you were actually stuck with an asset that you had too much of. You had an abundance, and it was maybe like you were wealthy in one sense, but also you couldn't get rid of what you needed. So this can be a problem if you have an orchard and you have apples, and you have more apples than there are villages. How are you going to get rid of all the apples? Because they're not going to last a long time. You have to be able to push them out into the market. So we can't actually put a price on those things yet because we don't have money. This was a moneyless activity. So money can start to make some of these problems go away, but I think it was a very large success until round 2. This is where we break it, hopefully. That's the intention. Okay, if you have clubs, you need hearts. If you have spades, you need diamonds. If you have diamonds, you need clubs. And if you have hearts, you need spades. Another 10 minutes. Let's see if you can trade. Let's open the market. All right, all right, all right. So I can kind of feel there's a bit more pain in the marketplace. Ben, where's Ben at? I've lost him in this jungle of people. He's right here. Apparently, clubs are the hot suit right now. Clubs are in vogue. Hey, I'm good.
Club black market.
There's a black market for clubs. If anybody's got extra clubs, I know a guy who can give you a good price. You guys all completed? You managed to make the trades? Excellent, excellent, excellent. This table, we got a lot of people finished. Are you guys all finished here? Wow, perfect. Was it easier or harder? It was easy?
I got robbed, but I got him back.
Okay. There's thieves out there. Hold on to your cards, guys. Hold on to your cards. We're going to look at some of the issues why cards aren't the best source of money, right? Obviously. Obviously. I love it. We have trades going on. We've got, what are you trying to get rid of? Some hearts? Hearts and diamonds. You guys got some cards to get rid of?
We're all diamond out right now.
Yeah, I heard clubs are hard to find. That's what Ben told me. If anybody has clubs, we're right down here at the front. Anybody still have clubs to get rid of?
They did this is on purpose.
Okay, there's something wrong here. We have scarcity on clubs. What am I? What? Exactly, exactly. We've got the hot trading floor. What do you have?
I have hearts now. I need to do 2 trades to get to my I need to get to this, but to get to this, I need 2 trades.
Okay, so you need to get to spades.
Yeah, I need to get spades, right? So for me to get to spades, I need to take
You
my
need to go and
heart,
find some
exchange
people
for
who,
clubs.
that's it, you need to go back up the market. You need to make 3 extra trades to get what you want, right?
Exactly.
It's a heavy
that's
lift.
Why I only got 2 so far.
Just to let you know, there's about 3 minutes left. We have maybe about 60% completion on the market. You guys are all good around here, all traded up? Perfect. All right. About 2 minutes left, really. 2 minutes left. If you don't make everything complete, it's not the end of the world. It's just playing cards. Don't worry.
I'll take a spade. You gotta do a couple of clubs.
All right, just as we close out, for the people who have already made their trades, I'm going to put up, obviously, some questions here. And I'd like you to talk with the people on your table about the same questions, you know. Have a bit of a think. Speak to the person on the left and the right. How did it go? And also, I want you to think about what worked and what didn't work. Did you have any tactics? Were you stuck with something you didn't want but couldn't find what you need? As we settle down in the last 1 minute remaining, just talk with your neighbors. Have this conversation about what is good with trade and what is not good with trade. Why does trade not work? What was the problem with this activity? All right, as we close in on the last 20 seconds, guys. 20 seconds, and then after that, I'd like you to return to your places so we can move forward with the rest. 20 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2. Okay, guys, if you can move back to your tables now, we're going to move on to round 3 eventually. But just really quick, if Ben, you can pick out a couple people in the audience who want to just share their experience. If anybody wants to grab the mic from Ben, raise your hands. What worked? What didn't work?
Yeah, who can tell me how it went for them this time? Who can give me some insight? Did anybody have an easy time, a hard time? Hard.
We got one over here. We'll start with this gentleman.
Relatively easy time, a little harder than last time. The first time I did it all in one trade. This time it took 2 trades to find it, but pretty good.
Okay, and who had a really? I heard somebody say hard time over here, right here. Let's hear what happened.
None of y'all wanted to trade with me. No, I had a mitt full of diamonds. I couldn't find a club to trade for a diamond to save my life.
All right, let's just raise hands because I heard this a few times. Who had problems with the scarcity on clubs? This table over here. All of this table over here.
I literally heard somebody pass by me and they were whispering. They're like, hold on to your clubs. Those are hard to come by. People are hoarding clubs.
All right, so we can see that when we change around what you have and what you need and it doesn't match with what other people have and need, we kind of get into this problem with the means of exchange, right? We're trading. The cards are operating as a means of exchange. You're switching what you have for what you need. And if you have a cow, but you don't want the bread, you maybe both want a candle and you have to trade in and out of the candle. And there needs to be basically something that's called a coincidence of wants. Now, that's the first thing I'm going to try and teach you guys today. Coincidence of wants. That's what makes trade possible. Without it, trade becomes very difficult. You have to trade maybe once, twice, 3 or 4 times away from what you had to get what you need. And that means expending energy. Imagine if we had 5 conferences in this center and we had to move to the other conference hall and then we had to go downstairs, and you have to displace your time and energy to be able to find what you need because it might not be on the market that's immediately available to you. There's not that coincidence of wants. And that's where this thing comes in. We're going to use some money. We're going to use something called commodity money. Now, this was the solution to that problem. Historically, it was not one person that thought of this. Every civilization across the face of the globe was using commodity money at some point, and we're going to use some today. In your box, you have a bag of coffee. I'd like you to share out the coffee with people around the table. This is going to work as our commodity money, and we're going to learn one of the first properties of money. Why do we need money? A commodity money is an object that can be used to trade and exchange with. And we call it a commodity money because, yes, it is a coffee bean, which you can use as money, but you can also make coffee out of it. So historically, there have been lots of different types of commodity money, shells, there's been jewels, there's been coffee, there's been salt, all types of raw natural materials that were abundant in some places that we could use. So this is a free market. If anybody asks, what's the price of a card? I don't know. We're going to do some price discovery as well. I want to find out, using the coffee grains, can you now trade or exchange with other people better or worse than round 2? So let's jump into round 3. It's the same again. You've kind of picked up how this works. It's chaos. You stand up. You have what you have, and you need what you need, and this is that. Use the commodity money and see if it's any easier. Can you exchange what you have into coffee? And then can you exchange your coffee into what you need? Distribute the coffee around, use it as commodity money, enjoy the smell. I'm going to get myself a coffee whilst we do this round, and we'll reconvene in 10 minutes. Have fun using money. It's a beautiful thing.
Hey, Pablo, quick question. Is it illegal to hold up the iron coffee stand?
At the moment, the iron coffee stand would represent the Swiss bank. It's
Okay.
locked up, locked down, and nobody's going near it except from me. I'm getting a coffee. Make way. And exchange what you have for what you need using the coffee beans. Does that work? head on out there. I think people are still maybe delivering the coffee to each other, but another 10 minutes. All right, everybody, there's about 3 minutes left, and there's all sorts of weird stuff happening on this marketplace. I can see people are hodling, people are scamming people, some people are saving, some people are stuck still. This is the hot place, right? This is where the market deals happen. This is Wall Street right here.
Is this Wall Street? They were always like,
Yeah, everybody's like, I'm buying, sell, 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 sell. I love it. Okay, so we're closing in on about 2 minutes left. I managed to get my coffee and talk with some nice people. It's all happening out there. It's a jungle. Nobody promised it would be easy and smooth, but this is the price of capitalism, I suppose. This is what we're doing. All right, so same thing as before. I'm just going to ask you to ask your neighbor, turn to the person on your left, turn to the person on your right, and ask them, how did it go? What worked, what didn't work, and why? Just have that little conversation, and we'll close in, let's say a minute, actually. Let's close in a minute. I can see a lot of people are sat down already, so that's kind of cool. That means people have either got what they need or simply given up. Yeah, I just got a coffee. Cheers. I want to thank you guys for the participation. It's really awesome to see this happening. I'm having a lot of fun, and I hope you guys are as well. Okay, let's close it out. That was round 3. So just really quickly, find your ways back to your tables, whether you've made your deals or not. I'm going to close the market in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ben, you know the deal. Let's find some people who want to share what they went through. Think, pair, share. Ben, who you find?
Right. I hear that there was an interesting tactic over here. So what was your tactic as you were trading beans and cards?
Well, after I got all my cards that I need, I went around and talked to people. So I met Angela over there, and she sold me a card for 9 beans. And then I really actually don't need that card, and I walk around and I buy the same card for 15 beans.
Let's go.
So
return on investment.
On the same card that I don't really need.
Yeah, it's awesome the type of things that we actually go through in the real economy started to happen as soon as we introduced money, right? Some people are hodling, some people are saving, some people are investing, some people are buying, selling for profit. Some people just gave up as well. It was really cool to see. Ben, anyone else out there?
Yeah. I'm going to grab 2. I'm going to go here, but I know that Mayor Sim had a very specific tactic in mind.
I just diversified, and I got 1 of each. And then my beans I kept because I can probably trade it in for coffee later.
There we go. Okay, she's on the coffee's futures. You're in the futures market. You're looking forwards. So this is a good part of money, right? We can start to think about our futures and what's coming on down the road. We need to be able to plan for things. You don't know what I'm going to tell you to do next, but in the world, we like to protect ourselves by having a bit of coffee beans stored up for that rainy day, right? So that's the type of thing we're looking at here. It was really cool to see, and I think we kind of started to get into some economic principles about how the economy functions, what are some of the tools and vehicles that we use. Ben, you stood by another last table. You got someone there?
I wanted to highlight that the mayor has what looks like almost a full deck of cards right now. Why is that?
Well, I wasn't too sure if the beans were fiat, so we just grabbed a stack and we started buying cards. So hopefully the beans were fiat, because we do have a whole deck. Yeah.
So you didn't trust the central bank is what you're saying?
No, you don't trust the central bank at all. And don't trust politicians either.
All right, don't trust, verify. Just a real quick question. That's an awesome point, actually, this word fiat. We'll come to it in a second, but just for people who know what that word is, hands up if you think that the coffee beans were fiat. Hands up if you think that was fiat. Hands up if you disagree and you think it was not fiat. Interesting, interesting. Okay, let's move forward. That's the end of the trading rounds. I work in threes, so round 1, 2, and 3, we got to see trading, the coincidence of wants, and commodity money. Obviously, money is a lot more complex than what we've done today, but I know we had a lot of fun doing this. We got to commodity money, and as I said earlier, lots of different things can be used as commodity money historically. Tobacco, cocoa, tea, salts, even camels have been used as commodity money in weddings, for example. So commodity money can be anything we want, really. And I think that the coffee beans were fiat because I told you it was money, and it was used as money. But essentially, you could break off and go into something else. But the thing that's important with the commodity money, and this is another property of money that we need, we had the coincidence of wants as a medium of exchange before, but we also need it to be widely accepted. So the coffee bean was widely accepted, and in that sense of the word, it was a successful money. Everybody had coffee beans, and everybody could use coffee beans. So it kind of worked in that sense. It also became a unit of account. We just heard the story about the card that was sold for 9 beans, but the card that was bought for 9 beans and then sold for 15 beans. So we're actually counting the value of the card in beans. So they became a unit of account. So these are some of the core properties of money. And then to the lady there that was talking about, I'm just going to keep my beans and buy a coffee later. Oh, it's kind of jumping in and out here. To the lady who was using that as a store of value. Oh, I'm not sure if I can jump back. Can I get an AV guy to come and check? Honestly, I didn't touch anything but this. So we can see that commodity money is more efficient, maybe more confusing, but so is money, right? Money can be confusing, and we've only taken a few steps in terms of what money is, but already we can see that there's an economy developing. If you just give me a second here, I've actually got some technical issues. There we go. It just took a guy. Oh, there we go. Perfect. OK. Dodgy connection. Remembered. So let's have a look at the functions of money. These are pretty much the 3 main key functions of money. If you can walk away with anything that you've learned about money today, it would be these 3 things behind me. So try and remember that money is a medium of exchange. Money is a store of value, and money is a unit of account. And to some degrees, with the coffee beans, we've experienced that today. So in the future, remember this experience when we're talking about the dollar, or CBDCs, or Bitcoin, because they still need to have these key properties of money. It hasn't changed since the time when we were trading salt, camels, and tea, to the time where we're now talking about peer-to-peer electronic cash. Also, cash or money has to be able to be transported. And this is where maybe the coffee wouldn't work. We're talking about money has to go with you through time, store of value. Also across space. We're all here in a local economy. But if we were to go somewhere else, how would that affect the value of our money? And also scale. Would this type of thing work in a larger market? Obviously, coffee wouldn't work perfectly as our local money. And it certainly wouldn't work perfectly as a city-based money or a country-wide money or an international money. I'm just going to check my time here. We've got about 5 minutes, and I want to give you guys some time to stretch out before we go into the next workshop. But this is where I get to where some Bitcoiners start, which is gold. We've just done a quick run through trade commodity money, and now we're at gold, which is the ultimate money. It became the apex predator of money for a long, long time. And it's because of its properties. We're thinking about coffee, but coffee was replaced by gold. We think about shells, replaced by gold. We think about tobacco, arguably replaced by gold. And that's because of its chemical properties. I'm not a scientist. I just put this stuff behind me to look smart. But if we look at its density, its melting point, and all of these different ways that it's lasting through time, it's hard to divide, though. There are some properties that don't work in its favor, but it's better than tobacco, and it's better than salt. It doesn't dissolve away, and a cigarette breaks in two. Gold is super durable, and it's part of these properties which made it the apex predator of commodity money, which was known as the gold standard. And that was, historically, the best money we had for a long time. And that's because of these traits. Now, there's lots of different words on here, and we'll be seeing these again in a little bit. But fungible means that, like the coffee bean, one coffee bean equals one coffee bean. There wasn't like Colombian coffee over here and Costa Rican coffee over there. It was just coffee. So that's fungibility. Gold's non-consumable. So for the lady who went to make some coffee, you'd be consuming your own money. So gold's non-consumable, moderately portable. It's durable, that's for sure. It's a very hard metal. It's divisible, kind of. It's secure. It's pretty impossible to counterfeit gold. It's easily transactable. Now, that's bad. It's lowly transactable. Nobody's using gold right now, and nobody uses gold right now. You can't buy a coffee with gold at Starbucks, that's for sure. It's also not very sovereign, and it's lowly decentralized. And it's not smart, that's for sure. It's not programmable. But these are some of the properties that nowadays, in 2025, we look to for our money. So because of the lack of some of these properties, gold bars became gold coins. Also, we had silver coins as well. Here we have 3 coins that were found and used in Canada. We have a British sovereign coin, we have a French Louis XIV coin, and we have a Spanish coin that came up from the United States. So those coins were used because they were easily transportable, they were easily exchangeable, and you didn't have to divide a big gold bar into 2. But eventually, even those coins had problems, and we started to use a promissory note from a bank. It would have been Toronto Dominion or Bank of Montreal. All of these different banks were issuing notes that said, you can exchange this piece of paper for that amount of gold. So it was backed by gold, and that's what we mean backed by. You can exchange something with a promise that it'll be replaced with something of that value. Then after that, the Bank of Canada was founded. They decided to federalize the whole thing and be like, we have all these banks, it's a bit chaos, we have 20 different notes, and trust me, I know what that is. I lived in Scotland for a while. They still have 3 banks which produce different banknotes. So you have about 60 notes in circulation. In Canada, it was made a lot simpler with the creation of the Bank of Canada, and they started printing notes with Bank of Canada in, and that's what we find today on the right-hand side. But one of the big differences was that in this slide from the top left to the bottom right, we lost gold. Somewhere along the lines, they just started giving the promise without the backing. And now we are made a promise by the Bank of Canada that, just trust us, bro, it's worth something. Somewhere along the lines, we lost our backing, and that is where it became fiat currency. It was pushed into this, an authoritative or arbitrary order, an authoritative determination, or a command or act of will that creates something without, or as if without further effort. That's the full definition that I found on Merriam-Webster about fiat. They told us we had to use the banknotes. We didn't choose to use them. We got told to use them. And not only that, but they weren't backed by anything. Canada went on and off the gold standard a few times, but in the last lifetime, we haven't been backed by anything. So if you look at this fiat currency and compare it with gold, there are some advantages, that's for sure. I mean, it's easily transactable, and that's the convenience with which we use fiat currency. But if we look at the scarcity, and that's what we're going through at the moment, these notes can be printed out of nowhere, and that's what we call inflation. If I was to come around your tables and double the supply of coffee, prices would go up. I would be the central bank increasing the supply. But coffee takes effort to produce. I'd have to go and import some coffee from some growers who've taken time to harvest and cultivate that coffee. Whereas fiat currency, the money I have in my back pocket right now, is simply printed. And it doesn't represent any type of effort that was put in to make it. And then once we've moved away from cash, we've also seen an evolution. We use pay points, we use PayPass, money is on our phones, money is in our apps, and also cash is slowly disappearing. So where is our money nowadays? It's not backed by anything, and it's not even in our back pockets anymore. It's some weird concept on our phone, it's numbers, it's ledgers, it's somewhere else. The place where it is not is it's not in our hands. We don't hold our money anymore. We hold promises, we hold apps, we hold zeros, but we don't actually hold the one thing that we should be, which is our money. That's until this guy shows up. Satoshi Nakamoto. He published the white paper on the 31st of October 2008 and proposed a blockchain solution to solving the money. And only a few months later, in January 2009, the first Genesis block was produced. The blockchain had been launched. It was already in action. And this was a solution to the problem. Bitcoin. Bitcoin was the way that we could make money sound again. Money was backed by something again. And most importantly, you can hold it. We're going to look at this today. We're going to delve into how you can own and hold and use Bitcoin to come back to some of the sound money properties which gold kind of had, fiat didn't have, but Bitcoin has a lot. If we look down this list right now, we can see some of the key properties of Bitcoin when compared to gold and fiat. I don't want to sell you Bitcoin. You can test every single one of these properties yourself. It's an open source protocol. We encourage you to verify. Is Bitcoin divisible? Is Bitcoin durable? Is Bitcoin decentralized? We Bitcoiners in the room have all worked this out, and that's why we call ourselves Bitcoin, because we believe that these properties are the ones which our money should reflect. We're witnessing the evolution of money. We've moved from commodity money to precious metals, to fiat, to digital money, and then to Bitcoin. And that's where we start the journey. This was workshop 1. We're not going to get into the intricacies of Bitcoin. I just wanted to give you a base layer of why we use money. And also I wanted to give you guys the excuse to meet each other and say hello. That was our first workshop. I call myself an evangelist. I mentioned this earlier because technically an evangelist delivers good news. An angel was a messenger that had a good message. I'm far from an angel, but I do have a really good message. It's that we fixed the money. That's my message as an evangelist. We fixed the money. You knew the banks were not working in your interest. You knew what you were working for was losing value, but you knew that there was no other alternative until this thing Bitcoin has shown up. And that's my good news for you. And that's what brings us here today. And that's where we're at in the history of money. Thank you very much for doing the workshop. I really had fun.